Grab your cuppa. It's time for coffee, clients, and nap time. I'm Sarah Marie, and this is your go-to guide for building a thriving business that fits into parenthood. So come on, let's create a life by design.
Welcome to Coffee Clients and Nap Time. Today I'm speaking with Brooke. Brooke is an AI and business strategist who helps small business owners, especially mums, ditch burnout and build smarter, more profitable businesses using AI and streamlined systems. As a mum and a business owner herself, she knows that the juggle is real. That's why she's passionate about helping others create systems and save time, increase income, and give them the freedom to step away without the business falling apart. Welcome, Brooke.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
My absolute pleasure. Let's start with you telling me a bit about who you are, how you got into business, and why you love AI.
So I'm Brooke. I own Wright Way Virtual Solutions, and thank you for that lovely intro. As you said, I help small businesses, particularly women in business, use AI and automations to scale and without the tech overwhelm. That's my big kicker. I just kind of started using chat. I think it came out late 2022, and I have just kind of grown my knowledge since then. I started off as a VA. I previously have like a history working with unis, local government, and then went out on my own. And yeah, I just wanted to build a business that suited me and my brain. I was diagnosed with ADHD in 2023, as well as being autistic. So that was a kind of turning point for me. And yeah, and I have 2 kids. So obviously I don't know, I just wanted more flexibility than what an office job could give me. And I was finding that I was really burnt out, probably just from masking all day. And also being like how my brain is, I would often get all of my work done in like a really short time and then either have to go looking for more work or like look busy, and it just wasn't sustainable. So I kind of took all of those skills that I've learned throughout my career and went out on my own. And then, yeah, here we are. Now I'm like helping small businesses use AI, implement it in their businesses and automations, and just setting up systems so that we can work less. When we do work, everything kind of works well, and yeah, go from there.
I love that. I'm just going to touch real quickly on the ADHD and autism side, because I have a teen who is also autistic with ADHD, a teenage girl, and I know many of the mums listening are going to be navigating that space either with their kids or themselves. So you've just said that using AI kind of helps you sort of navigate that space well within your brain. And I'm going to throw this out there because I know it wasn't originally what we're going to talk about, but it's kind of cool, especially for me with a teenager growing up in the AI space who is a female, who is autistic and ADHD. How do you feel that AI is helping in that space, especially with how your brain works? And into the future, I guess, how's that going to like help these women that are growing up in that space?
Yeah, I guess like I think, AI is going to be embedded in everything we do very soon, like smartphones. It's basically, when iPhones came out and then we had some apps, and then all of a sudden there's like this massive app store. And so AI will be the same, like it will just be embedded in everything we do. In terms of like helping neurodivergent people, I think there's like a few opportunities. So for me personally, I'll often drop emails into ChatGPT, because if you are neurodivergent, you often struggle with like nuance and tone. And so that just helps me. Like sometimes I'll just say, oh, can you help me like reply to this email? Here is what I want to say. And it takes an email that might take me like an hour, or that I just put off writing because I'm like, I know what I want to articulate, but I know that this is maybe sounding a bit abrupt or something like that. It just helps me get that email out there and feel confident in what I'm trying to communicate. So that's one way that I've found it really helpful. I also like just brainstorming with it, and like there's no judgment. Yeah, like because sometimes it is, and like you feel a bit embarrassed that maybe you don't understand what someone's saying. And so I can just be like, oh, what's this mean? Or if I see something on social media that's going viral and I don't get that nuance, I can just be like, what is going on here? And I'm just asking AI. So there's no like fear of judgment. I really like it for that. I also think that it's not going to replace human connection, but I think for neurodivergent people, it could potentially help. Just some of those struggles that we have. I've also created an AI bot in ChatGPT called Brain Buddy, which I can like send you the link, Sarah. But basically, it just is an ADHD executive function coach. So I was finding when I had more clients, then I was becoming really overwhelmed, like with that ADHD paralysis. I was like, all right, I know that I have to do all these things, but I just don't know where to start and I'm really overwhelmed. So I'm just going to avoid it all. And that, like, you can't run a business doing that. So I made this bot and basically I just wrote all my tasks in there that I know that I need doing, say for that day or that week. And it just like tells me like, okay, let's start with a quick win. And then so I build momentum. And then the way you use it is you say like, okay, I've finished this task. What next? And because you've already dropped all of that stuff in there, it's like, all right, let's go on to this. Or how are you feeling? Do you think you're ready to get into this deep work? And yeah, I've found that that's really, really helpful. And I think more and more kind of apps and things like that are going to come out using AI.
I think so too. I will admit the executive dysfunction, especially with my daughter, I find is just overwhelming. And sometimes I act as her AI bot, literally doing for her what you've just said your AI is doing for you. All right, well, what are your task lists? Okay, let's start with a quick win. Let's move to the next thing. She's 14, so obviously I am that for her. But obviously as adults to have that's pretty cool. And I will admit I'm a neurotypical, but I deal a lot with neurodivergence in my clients. And I find sometimes the emails I get are a bit haywire and all over the place, like brain dumps to me. And I find I do the flip side of you and I'll put the email in and say, can you tell me exactly what are the tasks out of this list that I need? Like, what are the priorities? Can you like decipher this for me? So it's cool from the other side of that to see how AI can help us as well.
Yeah, definitely. I try and not send those emails now. Try and get it in chat first and then send it across.
Well, that's the other thing as well. The more that we use it, the more that communication obviously is going to become easier from both sides of that conversation. Like, the information's going to come across easier for both people.
And I think that's a really key point too. And I was recently speaking with a client who's an occupational therapist about this, is that it's not just the expectation that neurodivergent people need to learn how to communicate in a neurotypical way. Like, as you have just demonstrated, it's like helping, like, you know, neurotypical people should also learn how to communicate in a way that suits neurodivergent people.
Yeah, and as a mum, as she grows up and goes out into the workplace herself, knowing that she's not just going to be looked at as, you know, the weird person or the one that can't
different, or like, this difficult person that we need to accommodate.
And especially when they're a lot of neurodivergents are so highly intelligent. Like highly intelligent. I think AI is really a great tool for that. But on the flip side of that, and I'd love to know your opinion on this, a lot of people are still obviously quite scared about AI. Like, shouldn't touch AI. It's going to take over the world. You know, all the drama, the thoughts that come up.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good question. I think it's a really valid question. Look, it's here. Like, whether you like it or not, it's here, and it's gonna, like, we can't go back.
Can't put it back in the box.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it's about finding ways to use it that feel good for you, personal boundaries around how much you're using it. Like, do I really need to use it for this, or am I better off like writing this myself? Because, you know, do I want to maintain that skill? Because if I continue to use AI, then I'm probably going to let that skill go. And for some stuff like data entry and manual admin tasks, let's let that go. Like I am all
We don't
for
need
that.
that.
Yeah. Nobody needs to be doing that. But yeah, like really kind of thinking about, okay, like consciously using this, like what do I like using it for? What are my non-negotiables? Because as I said, like it's here to stay. Like it's just going to get more and more embedded in everyday life. So it's being aware of that and kind of just, thinking about making conscious choices about how you're going to use it, how your kids are going to use it. And being comfortable with those decisions.
Absolutely. That really leads very well into my next question for you, which is how do you balance using AI while still keeping your business personal and human? Because we all know the difference between a human voice and what AI is still spitting out. Although I will admit, it is getting better and better. Over the last couple of years, I've watched it evolve and its voice is getting better, especially ChatGPT in particular. But how do you personally balance that AI side as opposed to being the human behind your business?
Yeah, so I firmly believe that human-centered stuff is going to be more valued as more like AI is rolled out, because one, it is everywhere and people have already probably got a bit of like AI fatigue in terms of like content generation. And so when people share stories that are really personal, behind the scenes, that sort of stuff, that really connects with your audience. So you might maybe brainstorm with chat about like what behind the scenes content can I do, but then it's up to you to create that content, right? So I think that's one really good way to keep it authentic. I also teach workshops, which like you build out your own custom GPTs, and we go deep into like the strategy of like your business, your brand voice. So I think that's really important, like having that defined before you start using AI for content. Also using examples of your own work that you have written pre-AI. Yeah, because then you can ask it like and tell it like, this is how I like to write things. This is how I communicate. Here's my socials, that sort of thing. And I think too, like just consciously creating with it. So using it as a brainstorming collaborator is really good. Treating it like a junior staff assistant. So it might come up with that first draft for you, but it's up to you to like read it and refine it and then also give it feedback. So say to it, I really like this part, but I don't like this part, and like why you don't like it. And then that content is going to be heaps better.
I mean, I definitely agree. I work in the content creation, social media, copywriting space myself. And what I've noticed is a lot of people are putting out content that is human written, but it's very AI centric, as in we're all starting to now emulate AI rather than keeping our own natural voices as well. And I find that sometimes when I write copy, it's the same sort of structure as what I've seen AI spit out as well. So it's kind of funny to see that in the other way where we're like, don't just use AI, but now a lot of the people when they write in a similar format, which is interesting to think whether that's us copying AI or if AI is just getting to the point where it actually is.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a combination of both. Like, so the more like we're reading those social media captions, we're like, oh, so this is the structure, and we become familiar with that. But then on the flip side, AI is, like more and more people are using it. They're telling it what their conversational tone means to them. So it's obviously learning as well.
Absolutely. Now, I know you're also an automations expert, and I know our mums in businesses that are listening need to get all over automations because we have very few hours in the day with the little ones underfoot and everything else we do and juggle and balance as mums. What is one automation that's completely changed how you run your business?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think there's a few. I think with automations, like you can see these like crazy long lists, like ones that go through massive steps. But I think like when you're first starting out, just keep it simple. I think even just using tech that has automation capabilities built in. So for me, I started using Moxie as my CRM, which I love. And so some of our listeners have, they work on hourly billing. One of the ones when I first started, that's how I worked, and it tracks your time and then it automatically generates invoices. I love that. You don't have to manually do any invoicing. That's amazing. That my philosophy is it's 2025. Nobody should be behind on invoices. There's tech out there that's so simple and easy to use. So that's one. I've set up an automation that takes my social media, content creator bot in ChatGPT. And once I'm happy with the content, I just tell it to send it over to my Notion dashboard. That's another good one. And my email marketing. So then my assistant can just grab that out. And for my emails, that just then gets scheduled in Flowdesk. So there's no copy and pasting or things like that. That's another really good one. Another one I like, which is just simple, but again, it just saves time, is for any of my workshops that I do, when someone signs up, I use Zapier to connect my tech stack. So how that looks in real life is someone signs up for a workshop, they get added to my Flowdesk email marketing subscription, and then they're automatically sent and added to the Google meeting. So yes, I've set that up initially, but now that just takes care of itself. And so they're pretty simple, but they save you a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the invoicing thing, I know I have automated invoice reminders that we don't need to be chasing invoices anymore either. You don't need an accounts team that sends the invoice emails saying, you're overdue. Every accounting system should have that functionality for you. So it's a really easy one to set up straight away. Do it today, listeners.
Set it up. That's the key thing. And I like to talk about automations being like meal planning for your business. So yes, it might take a little bit of time to set up, but then once these things are set up, then you can start to reap the rewards of that by, and as you scale, because these things are set up, it just allows you to scale without having to manually do these tasks. Or hiring someone, if you do get an assistant, they can be better used on other things.
Yeah. And I know we both have started in the VA space, so we understand the virtual assistant space, and there's definitely a time and a place for your VAs, but where an automation can do it, put your VA to work doing
somewhere
other things,
else.
More important things for them to be
and
doing.
And also more fulfilling for them too. And that's not a dig, but I think your VA probably would like to do something else other than manual data entry, and are probably much more capable.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
What's one thing that mums in business should start doing now to future-proof their business when it comes to AI?
Ooh, that's another good question. I think just using it, just embrace it. Because it's, as we talked about, it's here to stay, and we need to shape this technology. So there's Elon Musk, there's all these other tech bros creating this tech, and there's biases baked into this. So women need to be using this technology to help shape it, and also thinking about our daughters. I want my daughter, if she wants to be in these spaces. How cool would it be if, I don't know, she was creating some amazing tech that solved an issue that relates to women? That's amazing. And so if we start using it and leading the way and showing that we belong in these spaces too. Hey, there's all of these biases that AI is spitting out. Amazon was using AI to rank candidates for jobs, and they had to scrap it because it was ranking women and minorities lower in their capabilities, just because that was an inherent bias baked in. So I think in terms of future-proofing your business, embracing AI in a way that feels comfortable for you. And I think for a lot of your listeners, we're kind of at this fork in the road. Our kids will just learn how to use AI because that's just what they're going to grow up with. But for our kind of age, you need to make an active choice. I think it would be similar to when the internet came out for our parents, and learning how to use computers. If you make a choice to embrace it, you're going to get the skills to use it well. And if you don't, you're still going to use it. Like, you're going to be forced to, because it's going to be embedded in our phones, our apps, and other people are going to expect you to be able to use it, but you're probably not going to be able to use it well. So I'd say, like, take the path where you can learn how to use it and use it well, and you'll be better off for it.
Definitely, yeah. I think the more we use it, the more we know about it, and then you can choose where you use it. So I think that's really important as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can't ignore that it's there.
Yeah.
So you might as well embrace it, learn it, and then you can make the choice where it suits you in your business and where your thoughts and priorities align, I guess, to where it actually helps you.
Something that I see happening. So, you know, like, I don't know, like my parents' generation on Facebook, and they all share, they're like, this status update, Facebook has said if you don't share this, like, everyone will be deleted. And like, we know that that's a scam, right? But they believe it. And so it's the same with AI. If we don't learn how to use this, like, we won't know how to differentiate what is like a scam and what is not, or what's a good tool and what's not. So yeah, I think it's really important for us to start using it and embracing it.
I think that is the best advice I've heard in a while. If you could give one piece of advice to a mum who's feeling overwhelmed and wants to work smarter, not harder in her business, what would it be?
I would just say take a deep breath and walk away for half an hour, to be honest with you. Like, sometimes when I've been stuck, say I'm trying to learn a new automation or something, and it's really stretching me, the best thing I've done is to just like take a break, go for a walk, and just come back to it. If you're feeling really overwhelmed in your business, just starting with that, and maybe having a look at what is that specific thing that is overwhelming, and is there a tech or something that we can implement. And sometimes I think, especially like with small businesses, when you're first starting out, we look at these subscriptions and we're like, oh, another subscription. But if you can quantify how much time it's saving you, then like, is it worth it? Is it worth the $20? Like, am I okay with having $100 worth of subscriptions, but knowing that it's freeing up 5 to 10 hours a week so I can use that on client work or something that I want to do?
Yeah, I think that's really important to remember, that value of your time over the value of the dollar is a big important thing, especially for us mums. What are your favorite apps to use? Obviously, everyone knows ChatGPT. There is a lot more AI out there than just chat. Is chat your favorite, or is there anything else you want to give a special mention to before we wrap up?
I like chat. Yeah, I like that you can make custom bots and it's easy to use. Claude is good for writing and content. Gamma app is one that I've been using heaps for like presentations and slide decks. So you just drop in your outline and it just generates these amazing slides and can generate content for you. Fathom AI, which I have in all of my meetings. So it's a note taker, but it also generates like action items, and the video link is embedded forever, like in Fathom. So you can have access to that. Like, there's no limit. I love that about it. And I can send you links in, so we can put all of these in the show notes for people. What else do I like? There is so much. And I think probably a key here too is like, it can feel really overwhelming. So just like pick one tool that solves one problem and just like have a play around with that and start there. Don't like look at everything, say I'm using or someone else is using, and be like, oh my God, do I need all that? Just pick one tool and start there.
Yeah. And in your opinion, would that be ChatGPT? Because it's the most widely known, like you start there, learn and use chat first? Or
I think it's thinking about that, like what's the one problem I want to solve and what tool can solve it. So like say, yeah, absolutely, content creation, things like that. Yeah, you can start with chat. If you are like creating heaps of slides or presentations for a client, then maybe you start in Gamma. Yeah, like ChatGPT is good for content creation. Like, it's a large language model, so it's all text based, but there's heaps of others out there. If you're creating like mock-ups or something like that. Visual Electric is really great. Yeah, so again, just think about the problem that you're hoping that it will solve, and then have a look. And also ask chat. Be like, hey, I want to start embedding AI into my business. Here's like some bottlenecks. Can you suggest some apps for me?
I love that. Use AI to suggest AI.
It's just this loop.
We will pop the links to all those platforms that Brooke's just mentioned into the show notes. Thank you so much for your time today, Brooke. Where can my listeners connect with you and learn more about what you do and get help with AI themselves if they're so inclined?
It's been a pleasure. So I hang out on Instagram. So that's Wright Way VS. You can slide into my DMs. You can check out my website. And again, we can pop that in the show notes, but it's rightwayvs.com. And yeah, I often run free intro to AI and automation workshops. And then I have paid workshops too, to kind of build your own custom bots and make AI sound like you and not just like everyone else using. Because I want people to use AI, but I want you to use it well.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
I have learned so much from this conversation, so I'm sure my listeners will too.
Thanks for joining me on Coffee, Clients and Naptime. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another nut who's ready to build their dream life. You can also join our Facebook page or Instagram to stay connected every day of the week. The link is in the show notes. Just remember, you've got this, and I'm here to help every step of the way.